Hello, welcome back. So, today we are going to start with the very new unit of balance of payment, and in that we are going to start with our second part, that is balance of payment after foreign exchange. Now, what do we mean by balance of payment? First of all, understanding balance of payment is very much important, because whenever you're going through any of the transactions or you're understanding what all economy does, you will have to understand what balance of payment does to your economy. All right, so starting off with balance of payment. Now, balance of payment, what does it mean? Balance of payment, it basically referred to all those accounting statements that involve financial transactions, or we can say that it's a systematic record of where we recorded with the systematically we record with financial transactions. Okay, so now whenever we are talking for any of the accounts, we know that every account has a debit and a credit side. So does this account have, because it's just an account statement, so it does have its credit and debit side also. Now, what does its credit and debit side consist of? Basically, when we are talking of credit and debit side, the very first thing that includes on credit side is all the receipts that we are receiving, whereas the debit side will be showing all the payment sides. All right, so coming on with the very first point, come to the top right corner. Here we will be doing credit side includes export of goods first, and the very important thing is export of goods. Second, export of services. Third, unilateral receipts. Fourth, capital receipts. Whereas on debit side, we include all the payments. Therefore, first we will include import of goods. Second, import of services. Third, unilateral payments. Fourth, capital payments. All right, so all these included in balance of payment, whereas our balance of payment is also divided in two parts, that is capital and current account part. So what do we mean by basically capital account and current account? We will be doing it a bit later. First we'll understand what is balance of trade, and before that, visible and invisible items. Now, as I had told you that we include export of goods on credit side, whereas import of goods on debit side. All those transactions that are related to goods, because goods can be seen, touched, so we call them visible items. Whereas if we cannot see, touch anything, that are included in invisible items. Now, goods are traded, right, between country to country, so we refer to them as balance of trade, in balance of trade account basically. So we do not in balance of trade account, we do not include services. That's a very important point of view. Many times you are asked what is the difference between balance of trade and balance of payment. So that comes under 6 marker question or 4 to 5 marker question also, because you can easily create 6 points out of it. So talking in terms of pointers that are included, the very first point will be definition, that is under BOT we include all the financial transactions that are related to goods. Secondly, under balance of payment, we include transactions related to goods as well as services, both are included. Second point, under balance of trade, we do not record transactions that are of capital nature, whereas under balance of payment, we include transactions that are of capital nature. As we have done that, balance of payment includes capital as well as current account, so capital nature will be included, right? Now, third point, whenever we are talking in terms of trade, that means we are including only goods, that is Third point becomes this is a narrow concept, whereas balance of payment is a wider concept. Why? Because it includes balance of trade, balance of services, balance of unilateral transfers, where and balance of capital transactions also, because all these things are in capital transactions are included in it. Then fourth point becomes when we talk in terms of balance of trade, this can be favorable also, unfavorable also, or balanced also. Why? Because balance of trade relates to goods and goods only, where that are traded between countries to countries, and that can never be under balance situation. So there can be surplus also, deficit also, and there can be balance also. Then, but when we talk of balance of payment is, we say that it is balanced only in financial sense, or we can say as in accounting terms, because these are financial statements. So these remain balanced always. Then fifth point comes as deficit in balance of trade account can be overcome under balance of payment account, whereas if there is any deficit in balance of payment, we cannot cover it through balance of trade account. Okay, now balance of trade is not a true indicator of economic performance, whereas balance of payment is a true indicator. So these are a few pointers that you can write down whenever you are asked in the 6 marks, because this is very important to understand what actually is included under balance of trade and what is included under balance of payment. Okay, so as we have discussed, balance of trade can be surplus, balance of trade can be deficit also, and it can be balanced also. Now, how do we consider that it is deficit, balanced, or surplus? We can include it whenever your net value, that is, when your exports are more than imports, then it will be said as surplus. That is, whenever your exports are greater than imports, then it will be said as surplus. Alright, if your imports are greater than exports, then we'll say it as deficit. Whereas if both are equal, then it will be balanced. Now, what do we include under current account and capital account? What all things are basically included under these things? And what we can say that what is capital account or what is current account. So first we will be doing with current account. Current account refers to all those transactions like export of goods, services, export import of goods, export import of services, export import of unilateral transactions, not export import, receipts and payments of unilateral transactions. Then last but not the least, we also include all those transfers that are done during a particular period of time, that are like income which we receive through some payments or anything, will be included in current account. So that becomes a definition also, that current account refers to the account which records transactions related to all those things which I just told you now. Now, what are its components? Components refers to all those items that are included under that account. So under components, we mention export, import of goods first. Second, export, import of services. Third, unilateral transfers. Fourth, income receipts and payments. Okay, now again, current account can be made separately and it can be balanced, deficit, as well as surplus. Now, how do we calculate that it is surplus, deficit, or it is a balanced one? So, what we does is when our total of credit side is more than value of debit side, then we say it as surplus. Whereas if debit side is more than credit side, then we'll say it as deficit, and when it's balanced, we say it is balanced. Okay, that is equal. Whereas, what do we refer by capital account? Capital account refers to that account which includes all the transactions, uh, like borrowing, lending of funds, investment to and from abroad, and change in foreign exchange reserve. And all these things again will become our component, as I said, will include all these things which are there in the account, which we mention in the account. So all these things will be there in capital account. Again, we can say that capital account can be deficit, balanced, or surplus. Okay, now as we are saying that investment to and from account, from abroad. So what are these investments? These investments will include foreign direct investments and portfolio investment. Now, I'll just tell you in brief what does foreign direct investment mean about, and portfolio investment also, because many a times it's uh, get difficult that we forget things. So just we can make a quick note and move forward. Now, foreign direct investments refers to purchase of any of the assets, such as which gives uh, direct control for purchase on the purchaser of the asset. Okay, so for example, if I as a person will purchase some asset in foreign country, or I have purchased a property, then I am making an investment in that property, and I will be the owner of that. Not owner, basically I will have direct control over that property, because I am doing the work for that property and I'm investing my money. I am not owning that property, but I am investing the money. So my decisions will be taken, because it's my choice that I am giving my money. It's not they who brought into me, and it's my money that I am investing. So it becomes important for the person to take my advice and involve me also. Then portfolio investments refers to like purchase of an assets, where we will not get direct control, but yes, um, we have purchased an asset, so we will have our name that okay, they have purchased an asset, but I will not have direct control over that. Okay, so again, now what questions can be asked are like, differentiate between balance of trade and current account, differentiate between balance of trade and capital account, and also they can be differentiate between capital and current account. Also, like as we have done earlier, that balance of trade and balance of payment. So all these things can be asked in the 4, 5, or 6 markers also. So it's very much important to understand the differences. Differences will be same pointers that we are including in capital account and will not be included in current account. So you can make any number of points based on this. Now, coming on to the most important thing and the last topic, that is when we are including autonomous and accommodating items. Now, what do we mean by autonomous and what do we mean by accommodating items? Basically, autonomous items are all those international economic transactions which take place due to economic motive. Some economic motive is involved in that. But if you are saying of accommodating items or transactions refer to those transactions that are undertaken to cover the deficit. Basically, they are taken to overcome the deficit or surplus of autonomous transaction. Basically, that means if due to autonomous transaction there is some deficit, then we'll be taking in with accommodating transactions. If there is some surplus, then also we will be covering it through accommodating transactions. Otherwise, accommodating transactions are not taking place in um, any of the transactions. Okay, so this will again become our main point of difference also, that autonomous transactions are taken place for some economic point of view, whereas accommodating items are taken place to cover autonomous transaction surplus or deficit, right? Second, now coming with the difference simultaneously, under autonomous transaction, they are said to be independent. Okay, that means they are independent of what is the state of balance of payment account. Is it balance, surplus? They are not involved in that. But whereas accommodating items will take care of balance of payment account also. Then transactions that take place on both current as well as capital account can be autonomous. That means autonomous transactions can take place anywhere in current account as well as capital account, but accommodating items like accommodating transactions will take place only in capital account. Okay, so it is very much important to understand that where will accommodating items come. Okay, then uh, these items we can autonomous items are also known as above the line items, whereas accommodating items are below the line items because they are used to balance the equation, whereas autonomous are independent. So that's all with this topic. Okay, and the last topic, that is disequilibrium and deficit in BOP, that is not a part of the syllabus, so we will not be covering with that part. Okay, thank you very much.